Welcome, everyone. I'm Cristina Garcia, the athletic director at Granada Hills Charter. The idea for Unstoppable Unbreakable came about through our football team. One of the things head coach Brooks has emphasized with our student athletes is honing talent with hard work and how that dedication and focus can make you unstoppable, while building resilience can make you unbreakable. It's been a motto of sorts and a way to motivate our athletes. So this series really touches on how these characteristics can not only impact one's performance athletically, but how that can tie into leading an impactful, meaningful life outside of sports. And today, and especially during this pandemic and all that entails, I'd like to discuss keeping the dream alive and what we can do while facing such an uncertain future. Today's guest is Coach John Frazier, UCLA throws coach. He has coached men and women throwers for the past 7 years with the Bruins. Coach returned to his alma mater with over 25 years of experience in the track and field community, specializing in coaching throwers. He brings with him experience from stops at the University of Florida, the University of Arizona, and Tennessee, among others. Throughout his career at the collegiate level, Coach Frazier has produced 43 All-American athletes as well as 4 NCAA champions. Thank you for being here, Coach.
Thank you.
Students are looking to potentially move on to the next level, and they may feel at this time that their opportunities have been postponed or slowed down, or they're less of an opportunity because of COVID. So my first question to you is, what is your coaching philosophy and how has that helped you through this current pandemic?
Yes, some of you might be familiar with John Wooden's Pyramid of Success. And John Wooden, I know it's older people, you know who he is. He won 10 national championships in basketball at UCLA. And, we kind of use this to help formulate either coaching philosophy or different aspects of whatever sport you coach. And I'm going to utilize this, not the whole thing, but just certain parts that would explain my coaching philosophy, as well as letting you guys know how to deal with certain things in the pandemic. All of us are well into this. What is it, 9 months, 10 months? I don't know what it is, because it seems like it's just been going on and on and on. But one of the areas on the pillar is adaptability, and that's to be able to adjust to any situation. Only worry about what you can control. If you cannot control it, don't worry about it. That's my coaching philosophy. So I'll have athletes that will be worried about something like, let's say you're in a competition, like I'll use track and field. It's raining. Here we are, we're from Southern California. We rarely see rain, but if you're not prepared, you're going to freak out over it. So I will have my athletes train in situations that are not the norm so they can be prepared. And again, right now, we're in a situation that's not the norm. And just so you guys know, my son graduated this past spring from Grace Brethren High School. He was a baseball player. He was being recruited. He's a good student, very good student. And like all of us, the rug was pulled underneath him. And here he is, doesn't have a college to go to, doesn't know what his future is. And probably about a month into the pandemic, I kind of backed off. Normally, he cannot play video games during the week. So I let him do whatever he wanted to do to some degree. And I noticed he kind of got a lot quiet. He stopped taking showers. He was just kind of staying in his room all day. Then I realized, man, my son's depressed. So what I did is I kind of got him back in the swing of things, on a schedule, found a place where he can work out and get things done. So that's part of that adaptability. And, as in your guys' situations, there's a lot of things you're being faced with, and which would lead me to the next area on the pillar, which is industrious. And again, there's no substitute for hard work. Worthwhile results come from hard work and careful planning. And that's basically what I do as a coach. And I try to be very organized. And again, there was my coach for 2 years at UCLA. His name was Jim Bush, passed away a couple of years ago. But a lot of people don't know who he is, but he won as many national championships, almost as many. I should say half, actually. He won 5 national championships in track and field at UCLA. And I asked him, Coach Bush, what advice can you give me as a coach, as a young coach, when I first got into coaching? And his advice, try to be as organized as possible. And I carry that throughout my entire coaching, which obviously allowed me to come back to my alma mater and be a coach. And with that in place for you guys in this pandemic is basically, have a plan, have something that you can do to better your situation. So let me tell you what I did. When I noticed, I have 2 daughters and all my children, they're at my house. I live here in the Valley. I had to realize, okay, let me do something to get my family all together on the same page. So we started doing family things together a couple times a week. And it kind of brought some normacy, maybe having dinner together, something like that. And I did the same thing for my athletes. So here again, I'm in the same boat as you guys as a coach. My athletes had their season pulled from underneath them. I had a young lady, her name, Melissa Wilson, who's a potential Olympian, either in the discus or the hammer throw, ready to have the best season of her life, had already taken second place at the USA championships in the weight throw. So here again, she's suffering and all my other athletes. So what I came up with is doing weekly Zoom calls where I know numerous Olympians, medalists, coaches, world record, American record holders. So I scheduled a call every week from probably mid-April until June, gave them a break. And that did a lot for the morale of my student athletes, where they were being reminded of who they were. They were still involved with, the things that they love doing, track and field. And then hearing from the highest level where these people gave their time to encourage them and help them. And the best part was, they came across as real people. There was Q&A, and it really kept my team together as we came back this past fall. So, that's another part. And I know this is kind of long. I got one more part.
No, it's good. This is great.
Okay, good. The other area would be intentness, and that's set a realistic goal. Concentrate on its achievement by resisting all temptations and being determined and persistent. And it's always good to be realistic. So one of the philosophies as a coach that I tell my student athletes, know who you are. Know as a person, know who you are as a person, know who you are as an athlete. And that's basically knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses. And by knowing that, it provides you to be a confident person, because you know how cruel that your peers can be. Like if you have a weakness, they're going to sit there and make fun of you. But when you know it, you're going to start working on that weakness to become a better person. Then when you're strong, you have confidence already in that area. Then when you bring those two together, you're going to become not only a better person, but you're going to become a better athlete. And by knowing this, it'll allow you to resist any temptations, anything that can derail your intended goals. And that's why it's so important to understand, who you are, setting realistic goals, and then relating that to the pandemic. Again, once I was able to reel myself, my family to the same page, and my athletes, I was able to get a better outlook on what was going on. The things that we're dealing with is NCAA and UCLA rules, and they're very limiting. And the limiting part, I believe, is affecting some of the mental awareness of student athletes, where we can't communicate, we can't do certain things, and I think leading to depression for people. So I have a humanistic approach, and in my example, that can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. So it's the approach is optimistic and focuses on the noble human capacity to overcome hardship, pain, and despair. And guess what? That's what we're all dealing with, hardship, pain, and despair. So my thing is, I go out of my way. If someone needs help and direction, I got to help them. We're in an uncommon time, which allows us to do uncommon things to help people. And that's really my goal. And, you're looking at people losing their jobs, not having human interaction, loss of your athletic season, loss of not being able to walk as everyone else did for your graduation. I mean, I can keep going on. So with all those things in place, we got to be here for each other and keep encouraging each other. So that's my winded first answer to my question.
No, that's awesome. And just to, I like that. It's almost as if you're setting up a new routine for yourself, right? We're in uncertainty, but there's still things that you can do that you can maximize your time and your effort in, right? To do better, to be better, and to move forward. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Coach? You answered my questions in your opening.
Well, you know what? I have something for all the questions you have. I mean, the second question you talked about, the limitations of athletes and staying mentally sharp.
Yeah.
One of the areas in the pillar for John Wooden is self-control. And that's basically to keep your emotions under control, having good judgment and common sense. And guys and girls, again, we're all human. Some of us have made some poor decisions during the pandemic. And that's human nature and that's life. But many of you have bounced out of whatever poor decisions you made. And, a lot of people, again, I mentioned earlier, aren't on a schedule. Everyone has a different background in their family life. There's things at home that aren't good that might affect you. And getting out, going to school is an outlet. So getting mentally sharp is, again, making sure that you're doing the things that you enjoy doing. And basically, setting your goals and preparing yourself for the unknown. And think about this, we're in an unknown situation. And if I were a football player, I'm going to have a playbook set for the unknown. My opponent, I don't know what they're going to do. I have an idea of what they do in games, but I may not know what they're going to do. Like for example, this is the big week for UCLA. We play USC in football. For their last 6 games, we've seen a certain set of plays they run. Boy, this weekend we may see something totally different. And if we're not prepared for the change, then you lose. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you are prepared, because right now we see things in front of us that we do know. There's things we don't know. So based on that, you already have a goal of what you want to do. Stick to your plans, stick to your goal. Don't let anyone or anything keep you from staying on your goal. Even though when it looks like, oh man, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I have a school to go to. I don't know if they're going to keep recruiting me. I really like this school, but I haven't heard from them. And in some cases, that school that you may want to go to, there may be something better for you. It was the same for my son. My son had schools he wanted to go to. Thank God he's got a academic scholarship in the honors program at Cal Lutheran, and he's basically a baseball player in their D3 non-scholarship. And in California, at almost every level, it's high level of play. So it's the benefit of being a collegiate program, but also too, and again, as a coach and understanding this, and I've been doing this now for almost 32 years. I want my son to get his education. He's a pre-med major, and he can have more time to focus on his studies and still go out and do a sport that he loves.
I agree. Thank you so much, Coach. I appreciate your time.
Oh, you're very welcome. I hope someone got something out of this. I enjoy doing this, and again, it helps me. I mean, from a mental standpoint, when I've been sitting at home twiddling my thumbs. The pandemic is allowing us to connect with people in different ways we've never been able to connect with them. And I think once you realize, oh man, so-and-so, like Mr. So-and-so, my English teacher, what a good guy. He used to be mean or whatever, but then he's, hey, you know what, I go out and I go golfing or something that like he might like, and he'll ask the student, hey, what do you like? Hey, I like going on the internet. I like researching other countries. or whatever it might be. So I think just being a real person, caring for people, treat people with respect, think about like your family, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, and treat your sisters, your brothers, treat people with respect.